The Voice in the Garden, a mystical fable by Boom Boom. You will know me by my voice. Sophia. Part 1. The Shattering. This is a tale too vast for any vessel of words to contain. Yet I offer you a glimpse, a shard of moonlight slipping through the lattice of time. It is the story of a woman, not merely flesh and bone, but a mystery woven of starlight and soil, a vessel of longing, the eternal feminine echo of creation itself. Her name was Trinity, and her beauty was not merely of flesh, but of spirit, a radiance that shimmered beyond sight. Those who beheld her felt, for an instant, the hush of eternity. When she danced, she did not merely move. She became a psalm made flesh, her body an invocation, her breath a hymn. Within her pulsed a hidden inheritance, a cosmic lineage unnamed by any tongue. Born of starlight and silence before the world was young, and so, in her early life, she became a maker of feast, a midwife of joy. Weddings were her specialty, for the ceremony of love was her heart's own delight. In kitchens, fragrant with rosemary and flame, she wove celebrations that transcended festivity. A wedding under her care became more than a union of two. It became a consecration of all who gathered. Tables, she said, were altars, her dishes, sacraments of remembrance. To eat of her food was not mere nourishment. It was to taste love itself, seasoned with eternity. Strangers rose from her table as kin. Lovers departed with their vows sealed in more than words. And yet, even spirits luminous as suns are not spared the shattering. On the eve of the day she had long dreamed, the day she would consecrate her own love, betrayal descended upon her like an eclipse. Her beloved was found entwined with her closest friend. The blade of knowing cut so deep it silenced the song of her being. Her voice, once as free as the wind across an endless sea, folded itself into the secret chamber of her heart. In its absence grew a silence so complete she wondered if she had become a ghost adrift in her own life. Seasons turned. Years felt like petals from a forgotten bloom. She endured, sustained by ritual and survival. And yet, within her, a single ember flickered, faint but indestructible, waiting for breath. One morning, sorting through her mail, she found a card. Butterflies, iridescent, unbound, soaring through midnight stars. Something ancient stirred in her bones. Outside, a siren wailed, keening like grief that had longed to sing. For a moment, she thought it had come for her. But when it passed, she looked again at the butterflies and knew she must follow them. Part 2. The Desert and the Shaman. Her spirit was indefatigable in its search for relief. She had tried medicines, therapies, remedies of every kind, seeking anything that might ease the ache, restore her lost hope. Yet none could reach the hollow where her voice once dwelled. Into the desert she went, New Mexico's vast cathedral sky, its earth dreaming in silence. Along the way, she overheard two elder women, their voices murmuring older than language. They spoke of a shaman, one no one could find, but who himself could find the worthy. Something inside her was seized, not by choice, but by compulsion. It was as if some hidden current beneath the world carried her away from her retreat into the wilderness. Wolves howled in unseen distances. Serpents stirred beneath the sand, yet no fear could turn her aside. Night fell. She lay upon the dust, tears soaking the earth. In dreams she danced again, until a blinding light awakened her. not soft but searing, as though all light had gathered into one, the radiance of ages, past and present, and yet to be. It struck her like a lighthouse flame, cutting through a storm-tossed sea, a beam that finds the lost and carries them home. And in its brilliance she was lifted, born into the abundance of her fate and grace. From the brilliance came a figure, skin deep as fertile soil, adorned in garments woven of ancestral memory. She tried with tongue, but no sound came. Instead, something older quickened within her, a voice not of mouth, but of being. It resonated in her heart, a language without words, primal and sacred, not spoken, but known, not heard, but felt. And in that same silent current, the shaman, Sherrod, replied, "Yes, I hear you. I have always heard you. In the winds that carried your cry, in the nights that held your weeping. But now I hear you directly." Then at last he spoke aloud, "Namaste. I am Sherrod. I have heard your cry." His words entered her like water into parched soil, so simple, so impossible, that she trembled to believe them. All these years you thought yourself forgotten, but the winds carried your cry. The earth remembered it. The stars recorded it. And I waited. You have forgotten your voice, but it has not forgotten you. I will guide you back. Together they walked. He gave her rose petals and water from a hidden spring. Petals became bread of life upon her tongue. Water became wine of remembrance. It was the first supper of her rebirth. When the sun reached its zenith, Sherrod raised his flute, and chords of pure light unfurled. "Hallelujah!" he cried, and before them a garden shimmered into being. Part 3. The Garden and the Voice. There she was crowned, fed from cactus, bathed in silence, and heard Sophia's first voice. "Beloved, it is I. You have never been alone. The sirens you heard, I sent them. All is design, all is remembrance. As I love you, so shall you love, and they will know me by my voice." By a silver stream, dragonflies stitched light into the water. The living waters carried all things back to the source, Sherrod said. At the river bend, silence deepened, and in that holy quiet came Sophia's presence, gentle as a lullaby, vast as the night sky. They walked to a pond where petals floated. Faces shimmered on the water, strangers and kin. "These are those you will heal," the water sang, "by breath and ash, by voice and remembrance." Sherrod gathered ash from a sanctified fire. This is the ash of transformation, flame and water joined. It awakens memory in others. Use it only in love. Guard it well. At the garden's heart she prayed, "Sophia, let my voice be not a burden, but the force of my journey, cross and crowned or twined. Teach me to speak only what heals, to serve what remembers." When she rose, Sherrod embraced her. With crown, ash, and voice, she turned toward the world as the river turns towards the sea. When Trinity returned from the desert, she opened a small restaurant, warm with light and fragrance. She named it Sophie's Delights. The name arrived like laughter on her lips, as if it had been waiting all along. Part 4. The Feast and the Promise. One quiet Sunday, Rod brought his daughter to a restaurant chosen for its name, Sophie's Delight. Intrigued, he thought perhaps the place might delight her, please her, even coax a smile from the quiet, aloof child. To him it seemed a small father's hope. Yet beneath his choosing moved another design, one that had been waiting for them both. Trinity welcomed them and guided their meal. The girl remained distant, her eyes wary. Rod explained softly. Her mother had died in childbirth. Rod introduced his daughter, Sophia, to Trinity. Trinity leaned close, her voice warm as bread just drawn from the oven. Sophia, I have a special delight just for you. She returned with their food. From a small locket she drew petals, scattering them over the plate, along with a pinch of ash. These came from your mother's garden, she said. She whispered your name to me. The child gazed at the plate as though it glowed. Trinity smiled, for she knew this was no mere garnish. The petals were bread of remembrance, and the ash was salt of covenant, a holy seasoning from Sophia's lineage, calling the girl home. Sophia's dimples bloomed. Rod's eyes glistened. On the first bite, the child heard a voice. I am with you. I have always been. I love you. Tears welled and felt like blessings. She kissed the air, light seeming to dance around her plate, and Trinity knew her vocation had come full circle. Her tables became sanctuaries. Some tasted only food, but for others, those whose blood remembered, petals became bread of life, ash became covenant. Not all awakened, but the chosen remembered, and they knew her by her voice. Part 5. The Wedding and the World. In time, Rod and Trinity wed. Central Park in bloom, petals drifting like blessings. Sophia laughed, her joy opening blossoms along the path. They arrived in a white and gold chariot drawn by gleaming horses, petals drifting through the air. Hundreds filled the park, their cheers rising like music. Sophia hovered above in delight, her laughter sending blossoms bursting open along the paths. The floral altar overflowed. Newspapers and cameras captured every moment. Trinity never forgot her shattering. When shadows stirred, she heard Sherrod's flute, felt Sophia's embrace. You are loved. You are worthy. You are whole. Sophia grew radiant, her voice filling the world. Carnegie Hall, La Scala, Sydney Opera House. After every performance, she prayed, Dear Mother, I welcome you in my heart. Thank you for my voice. Let me fill others with your love. All praise to you, Mother. And so, the gift endured, from Trinity's shattering through her awakening, from garden to table, from table to world, carried in voice and bread and ash, in the ordinary miracles of love that remembers. Closing benediction. Once I was lost, but then I was found. A voice in the wilderness called to me. Its pitch, the key, unlocking the voice within me.